Welcome back to Manager's Corner. I am here today to discuss the serious financial situation that the town of Abington is in, and I want to be clear with the residents that are tuning in and watching. It is clearly not a mismanagement of funds or not properly being good stewards of the funds. It's simply a revenue shortfall. We're just not generating enough revenue to be able to provide those services that the residents of Abington demand and should be able to have. What I've been doing is meeting with the department heads that are impacted by those cuts so that the residents have an opportunity to hear firsthand from our leadership team, our department heads that work tirelessly each and every day on behalf of the residents here to make sure that they're providing the top-notch services that are required by our residents. As folks know, from following a myriad of meetings that take place in our town, watching the FinCom meeting, watching the Manager's Corner, the town is faced with a $3.4 million shortfall. And that is going to affect a number of departments. There's a school department shortfall of $1.6 million, the police $875,000, Town Hall $358,000, the fire $275,000, DPW, and John Stone is joining me today, the DPW director, and you'll hear from him shortly. They have a $261,094 shortfall. Council on Aging has $6,400 shortfall. The library $13,000. And I've sort of rounded the numbers, but it's a little over, the exact number actually is $3,413,020. Now, people need to show up at town meeting. As residents know, town meeting is May 4th, 7 o'clock, Abington High School. At that meeting, just so people understand the mechanics, there'll be two budgets that will be presented. A level funded budget, which is for FY27, you'd get the same money that the department's got in FY26. And that's really a cut because that doesn't take into consideration collective bargaining agreements, rising in pension costs, rises in health care, utilities, gas, all of those things. And then the other budget that would be presented is a level service budget. And that's where the additional dollars that I talked about would be infused into that budget. That budget would need to be adopted. The level service budget would need to be adopted at town meeting, and then at the ballot box. There'll be a special election on May 16th, and the override question, that's a menu, and actually people can vote over the counter right now. Our clerk, Leanne, and Barbara in that office, they have the ballots ready for both the town election, which is taking place on April 25th, and for the special election, May 16th, to vote on the override question menus. And residents will have the opportunity to vote on each of those departments that have a shortfall. In order for the override to pass, though, it has to be supported at town meeting and supported at the ballot box. So I thought it was important to refresh people's minds and know exactly what the process is. So now to my guest. I am very fortunate to be joined by John Stone, the director of the DPW, and John's here. And welcome, John. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, Michael.
And I thought what we'd do, John, maybe people that may not be familiar with you, I know you've been here for quite a long time, and maybe you can just tell residents, how long you've been here, what attracted you to being here, just
Sure.
a little information about yourself.
I started with the Abington Sewer Department in 2002 as a laborer, and then in 2004 I became the foreman, and then in 2006 or 7 I became the sewer superintendent because there was an opening, and then in 2014 the town voted at town meeting to approve a DPW form of the Public Works, and I became the interim DPW director, and then in 2016 I became the permanent DPW director, and I've been there ever since.
Well, that's great. it's always impressive to have. I love to see people come up through the ranks because, you know, as a person that's devoted their life to government, there's nothing like having people that understand the community, understand the residents, and, you know, in a community like us, to know what needs to be done when it needs to be done.
Definitely.
And I think it's also a motivator to other people that, you know, see how you were able to move up. And I always believe that's a great motivating factor for other employees that want to follow.
I agree.
In the footsteps.
Totally.
And in the short time that I've been here, I've enjoyed working with you. I did enjoy my tour when I came over to your office to drop all the paperwork to Kelly, and you were gracious enough to give me a tour. And I was kind of amazed. The interesting thing is not from being here, as you know, I'm from Marshfield.
Right.
But I try to go to the senior center on Thursdays for lunch, and when Kelly ever told me where the building was located, I said, oh my God, I drive by that building. And I never looked over because, of course, I'm staying focused on the road to see what it said on the brick building. And it was great to go there. And I was surprised until you showed me that that's where one of the big pumps are located, right under there.
That is, in fact, the main pump station in town. Over a million gallons of sewer transfers through that pump station on Summer Street and gets delivered to in front of Walmart, where Gravity takes it to Brockton.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that is the main pump station. That's why that building is there, because it's the main pump station.
No. And the other thing, and I think I mentioned this to you and the staff, is I couldn't get over, you know, how neat, clean, and orderly the office was, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, we have great staff.
Yeah.
The whole DPW
really do.
is fantastic.
That's wonderful. Well, it's a credit to your leadership, so thank you.
Yes.
Can you give the viewers a quick synopsis? A lot of people might not understand what the various functions that you're responsible for and that you need to direct people to do.
First of all, snow and ice. That was a tough winter we had. We were all responsible for snow and ice, making sure the roads are clear and passable for emergency vehicles as well as residents when the time comes. We're responsible for grounds and sports fields, lining them, mowing them, everything that you could possibly think of as it relates to sports fields. Highways, roads, potholes, the sewer system, the drainage system. We have 2 guys dedicated to vehicle maintenance. They do a great job. There's 160 town-owned vehicles, and then there's miscellaneous small equipment, chainsaws, generators, and things of that nature that we take care of. We're also responsible for the pool, the recreation, and the list goes on and on and on. And anything you could think of, trees, striping the road, road signs, and we're responsible for all that.
That's huge, John. When you mean pool, you mean Island Grove, right?
Yeah, the swimming pool. Yeah.
Because when I first got here,
maintain that.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Let me tell you, it was beautiful. My first experience when I had put my name in to be the interim, and Abington Celebrates had reached out to me. They heard that I was going to be applying, and it just so happened it coincided with the Christmas. They had Santa Claus, they had the Grinch and everyone there, and that was my first experience with Island Grove. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm looking forward to what it will look like this summer. It'll look pretty good in the winter.
It'll look good.
So I'm excited about that. And the parks and stuff, I know that's Parks and Recreation are under the rec department per se.
Kelly Johnson is the recreation director, and she does a fantastic job with the programs and the Island Grove and the camp and everything else.
No, that's wonderful. And I heard the good news. The bids were opened on Arno Park to put in the
street hockey rink. Yeah,
so
that's a credit to Brian Woodford, the hockey coach, and one of his, I don't know what he does, Jonathan Waters. They did a lot of work on that. And it looks like it's going to be a good project and ready this summer.
No, I know. Yeah, we're excited about that. I think that's wonderful. In providing all those services, you always need staff. What are some of the challenges that you face in trying to provide all those services and being such a good steward of your budget? If you can talk a little bit about that.
We're shorthanded. We've been asking for more help for at least 10 years. Compared to other towns of similar size and near us, we are very understaffed. Some towns near us have 25 people in their DPW. We have a total of 16. We have 12 field people, and that includes the 2 SOAR guys, the 2 vehicle maintenance guys, myself, the 3 office staff, and then there's about 8 guys in the field. We definitely need more. We struggle to find time to train the guys. As you know, in 2018, we became under the rule of OSHA, and they require training, and we are struggling to find time to train.
And that's an important aspect, because the thing about OSHA is to make sure that the employees are protected. There are certain requirements, fall protection, when they dig holes, making sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
trenching. There's all kinds of stuff that we're supposed to be training on, and we're struggling to find the time to do so. We definitely need more help. And another problem we have is funding for infrastructure. People want their roads paved, and I don't blame them. They pay a lot of money in taxes. We need to come up with a plan going forward of how we're going to come up with the money to pave these roads.
So like a 5-year.
We chase every grant possible. We've got a ton of grants. You'll see it coming up over the coming years and months and years. We have 3 active right now. We applied for 2 more, so there's 5 in the works. But we still need to come up with a plan to funding infrastructure.
That's one thing you hear from residents all the time. I'm just starting to get a call. Someone had said they were at town hall a few weeks ago, and then you sent people out right away. There was that big hole.
Yes.
Took care of the big hole right away.
Potholes.
A couple of them.
It's a bad time of year for potholes.
Must get tons of calls on
Right.
the potholes. With town meeting, folks will have the opportunity. We get the Chapter 90 standard grant from the state, which helps, but that's such a small piece of it. Not enough.
It hasn't risen in years.
The one thing I always like to make sure people know is that number is predicated on a formula based on your accepted streets, and we
Miles.
do have miles.
Yes.
Thank you. And we do have a street acceptance policy.
Yes.
We need to be a little more aggressive on accepting at least the new streets that are in fairly good condition and need little to no work.
Agreed.
And that will help get up the money. And then I agree with you on having a long-range plan, a 5-year plan to put X amount of money.
I think it's a must.
Yeah.
Some other towns have capital plan committees. I think that's something the town should look into at some point. I know the funding's tight this year and probably next year, but maybe at some point it'll free up, and having a plan in place, something that we could tell the residents, your road will get paved maybe in this year.
Right.
But I think that might
Set
be
everything up on a schedule so people
have a committee and set it up on a schedule, and when money does become available, we have money to pave roads and other infrastructure.
No, absolutely. We've talked about some of the struggles, having really a shortage of employees.
Yes.
Which is, why your ask is a little different. Most people are going to actually have cuts. Your particular reduction in funding is those 2 individual employees that you really need to help with the burden. Maybe if you could discuss a little of that and what those 2 people would be doing.
What we have now is we have employee retention, which is a great thing. We have a lot of people that have been there over 10 years now. With that, though, comes more vacation time. So it's a double-edged sword, employee retention. We don't like people taking vacations in the winter for obvious reasons, because we need to plow and salt. So in the summer, they're entitled to vacation and time off, and it leaves us very short-handed. So these two employee asks would just be laborers, extra set of hands, more boots on the ground. We desperately need it. We're falling behind schedule on day-to-day activities, road work, repairs.
And what about stormwater projects? Because is that part of, would they be working on stormwater projects also?
Everything.
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 Okay.
Everything.
With the winter, it is tough because you have to have all hands on deck. And this year, of course, we had that 48-hour window, and the department did a great job of making sure the streets were open and clear.
The staff did great.
They really did.
They really did. A lot of other towns sat down during the height of the blizzard because they couldn't see.
Right.
We kept going. Our guys kept going. They didn't stop. It's credit to them.
No, I was particularly impressed being so new. Also, you had someone assigned to the senior center, which was incredible because that was our shelter.
Yes.
And you had someone there to make sure that the parking lot was clear so that if people had to drive there, they'd be able to get there and be able to park, which is important. So
That was a tough storm. That
really was, yeah.
That really was. That was one of the worst I've seen in 20.
I was going to ask you that if you thought that was the
I
worst.
thought that was the worst, like intense-wise.
Yes.
That 12-hour window was probably
Right,
the worst I've ever
right.
seen.
And, as the residents may have heard me speak at the FinCom the other night, we did put in for $415,415 because the state, you had to, within that 48-hour declaration of an emergency that they called and we called, that was the money. So hopefully we may get some money from FEMA or MEMA, although there was an article I wasn't happy to read this morning in the paper. The governor had put the request in, and there was some ambivalence if we met the standard cost. There's a percentage breakdown by county, and then there's a threshold that the Commonwealth has to meet in order to get federal funds. So they're still looking at those numbers. It would be a huge help for us, no
Definitely.
budget.
Hopefully it comes to fruition.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed.
It was a very
yeah.
bad storm.
Yeah.
I mean, it should qualify for.
No. And the winter, we've been able to make some. There's a silver lining because we were getting a new DPW facility. We have the new salt barn.
Yes.
And a new fuel depot, which is great. I know there were some challenges, and I just want people to be aware this year because building the new building, the men and women that work for you and changing plow equipment and stuff had to be done outside in
Yes.
the cold. They're on the ground, so
Yes, and the
very, very
equipment's
difficult.
outside, trucks are outside. Yeah, it's very difficult. We're hoping to get in there this year.
The goal is, we'd like to get that open prior to winter.
Hopefully.
Yeah. No,
We don't want to go through another winter over there at the North School.
I think we're making some. Good headway.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Any other challenges that you can?
No, but just with the lack of manpower, we have to hire more contractors to fight the snow and ice.
Right.
So that's another savings that would happen if we were able to get two more
few
guys.
more bodies.
A couple more
absolutely.
bodies.
And do you face the same challenges in the summer? Because I know you're responsible for, town hall
Absolutely.
property, all of the building property, parks, grass that has to be cut.
We mow all the public property, we mow all the ball fields, line all the ball fields, take care of the infields. Like we talked about earlier, the pool, the swimming pool, we have to get that up and running. We chlorinate it every day, we test it every day. And like I said, a lot of the people like to take their vacations in the summer, obviously,
Of course,
and that
yeah.
leaves us
Short-handed.
very short-handed in a precarious situation that isn't not ideal.
No. And you do the weed whacking and
Weed whacking,
tree cutting and
tree
stuff like
cutting,
that. Street sweeping.
Street sweeping, we're doing it right now at the parade route because
Yeah.
the parade is Sunday. We're doing that right now, and then we have to do the whole town eventually.
Right.
Sweep the whole town.
Well, thank you for bringing that up because hopefully people will watch, they'll see us. And remember, I know there are signs. I had the great pleasure of having Jack Bailey come up to my
Oh, yes,
office
yes.
yesterday, and him and his wife and I, we got better acquainted, and we talked about the parade and his commitment to the parade. So I'm looking forward to actually
Excellent.
marching with the select board.
Excellent. That's great.
So it'll be fun on Sunday.
And
1
another-
o'clock it starts.
1 o'clock,
yeah.
yes. Another thing people don't realize, we're a 24/7 operation. We get calls multiple times a week for various things, not just snow and ice. We have pump stations running 24/7. Trees may fall. Accidents, we have to barricade, bring barricades for the police. We're a 24/7 operation, truly. I don't think people realize that. A lot of people may not. I don't know. But
Some of the residents do, and if residents have issues, is there a particular number they should call? I know potholes right now are the biggie.
781-982-2122.
Excellent.
And if it's an emergency after hours, call the police.
Right.
And they'll get a hold of me or one of us.
And I think you did a great job of articulating those two individuals. If the money's not there and you can't hire them, that does affect you negatively on your ability to deliver both summer and winter services.
Absolutely. Because we're getting to the point now where if something else gets added to our plate, something else has to come off. It's either that or we're going to have to pay overtime, which I know we're not in a position to do.
Right.
So we're at that position now where if anything more gets added to our plate, something has to come off.
Right.
something will not get done.
No. So we're going to hope that when residents go to town meeting on May 4th, that they support the level service budget, and when they go to the polls on May 16th, that they support the override, because your department needs those two individuals.
Yes.
And people want to make sure that our parks are properly maintained. A lot of our children are involved in sports activities, so there's a lot of maintenance to the field,
Tons.
the lining of the fields,
Tons.
all of that stuff. And then people like the buildings to look good. They want it clean. They want the streets cleaned.
I don't blame them.
They're not able to do that. You can't do your job without having the proper staff. That's why
Correct.
it's so important.
Correct.
So, have we left anything out?
No.
No. So I want to thank you for joining me here today, and just remind people once again of town meeting is on May 4th. Special election is on May 16th. And, it's going to be really up to the residents on what they can afford, but we hope that they support the override in general, and in particular they support the funding request for the DPW.
That would be great.
So I want to thank you, John, for
Thank
your
you.
service, and I want to thank you for being here and joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Manager's Corner. And until our next show, just hope that folks remember to tune in if you need more information on the override. If you need more information about town meeting, please feel free to email me or call me at Town Hall so that I can answer your questions. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.